Elvin Speights Sr. is a community activist and now a candidate for the District 10 Constituent School Board in Charleston County. I speak exclusively, Elvin, for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook.
Elvin Speights Sr., welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I appreciate it greatly. Obviously, you are a community activist, and now you are actually a candidate for the District 10 Constituent School Board in Charleston County, particularly in St. Andrews, which is West Ashley. And recently, you said this on your Facebook page. You said this quote, "Today, I want to announce that I am taking my grassroots movement to a new level. I have been in the trenches learning from many greats before me. I'm confident that I will make a great addition to the D10 Constituent School Board. I'm a well-known activist in the community. I'm a proven grassroots member with a strong track record of being able to solve conflicts and bring results when needed. It is my honor to announce that I would like to be your next Charleston County D10 Constituent School Board member. With your support, I'm sure we all can make this happen." Let me ask you this, Elvin. What has been your grassroots movement before this new level?
Okay, so in 2008, 2009, I started coaching boys basketball, boys and girls actually. And I use sports as a way to mentor kids. I found that the easiest way to get kids to trust you and understand you have to get on a level with them. Sports have opened the door. Once I started coaching them and we built a relationship, then it was easier to talk to them versus just walking into the room and saying, "Hey, you need to start doing this. You need to start doing that." We built a rapport, a relationship. So then when we stopped talking about basketball and I would say, "Hey, how's school going?" Or I talked to your mom and she told me that, you said some rude stuff to her the other day. It was more receptive, they accepted it better. So.
Yeah, you talk about your relationship with those particular students. What is your relationship with District 10?
So District 10, I just started District 10 last year. I've been all over. For the last couple of years, I've been a lot in North Charleston.
Right.
But so last year, what happened is I got called to coach the basketball team at West Ashley Middle. They recently had a new principal, Ms. Porter. So we had a contract. We decided we were going to do something different. Our basketball team was based more on just putting together the best kids and going out and competing. We took the kids who we thought could use some mentoring and could play a little bit of basketball. So it wasn't just, I wasn't looking for the best talent. I was looking for the kids who I thought that my mentor program would probably help and change around. And we took a lot of those kids and we changed a lot. We had a contract. So when we got frozen, I don't know if that's going to be it is, but what a lot of people don't understand is in middle school sports, CCSD does not do middle school sports. So that's usually through a rec lead or someone else coming in and putting together middle school kids, which means that lead had his own rules. So a kid could be failing out. He could be getting in trouble. He could have got suspended that day and come home and play in the game. So what we did is we set together, me, Ms. Porter, and the parents, we set together a contract. And with that contract, it meant, it told the kids, hey, you can play, but you got to be passing. You can play, but you can't be getting in trouble in school. You can play, but you have to attend tutoring 3 days a week. And go ahead.
Oh, no worries. I was thinking of this too as you were talking. How has the academics improved since that contract has been obviously drafted?
Awesome. So I had kids who were on their way to face the board who graduated last year. I had kids who were recently failed last year who are in high school now. So, we had a large turnover. One of my proudest ones is I had a kid who was getting suspended and in a lot of trouble because he was in a gang and he would wear his bandanas and stuff to school every day. And he would refuse to take them off. But when he joined the team, he took them off, started going to class, started getting in trouble.
Wow. Now, you talk about those kids who were almost on their way to the board. As you know, as a constituent school board member, you'll mostly be dealing with expulsions. How many expulsions have there been in District 10 over the past 2 years? So
in District 10, I don't have the exact number. I know in Charleston County, and I hate to say it, I hate to have to say it because it sounds like I'm trying to be racist, but black kids lead Charleston County in being suspended, expelled. So even though we're not the minority, so this would give me a chance on being in District 10. I would get a chance to work with those kids before we have to work with these kids, try to help them, try to change life, try to see what's going on before it comes to the chance of just, hey, you're a bad apple, you got to go.
And what else would be in that plan as far as stopping expulsions in District 10?
Well, like I said, a lot of these. So I don't really believe that children are bad. I'm not. What I've learned, definitely mentoring kids. A lot of children deal with things, and a lot of times what you see they're acting out is what they're dealing with, and a lot of it starts at home. If they don't feel they have anyone to talk to, or it's a cry for an attention, a lot of it's shown out in the behavior. Once you deal with that, you'll have a easier path and an easier understanding with you and the child to get through.
Yes, sir. And you all said this too, standing on principles. Hashtag grassroots movement meets education. What are the obviously the educational principles that you're standing on right now? So
coaching this year, not sure if I'm going to coach basketball, but I'm working with the other coaches. What I want to keep is the contract. You want to keep the contracts, and I would like to see those contracts implemented in all the schools, especially in middle school sports, where if a child's going to compete, then they need to have an understanding and respect for school. We need to have tutoring set up. We need to have, you can't get suspended today and go play tonight. Some parents, I'm not saying all, most parents will be like, fine, if you get suspended, you can't play. That's, part of the punishment. But every parent isn't like that. You've got some parents who aren't involved. They're just not there. So the kid can do whatever and go home. And if he's playing for a sport, he'll still play. So grassroots education is like we're doing more than just on the streets. We're in the schools. You know what I mean? I'm not just mentoring you at home. I want to be involved with your school as well, making sure you're doing what you need to do, making sure that if you need help, making sure that you're getting to work, you're being tutored, all of it. That's what goes. Grassroots meets education.
And you talked earlier about the different behaviors that some of the kids are obviously exhibiting because they are crying for attention or they need help or there's some problems at home. Mm-hmm. What are the other behavioral patterns are you seeing right now in general?
A lot of it, man. A lot of it, I think, is just music. I think a lot of these kids, stuff they see on TV, stuff they hear, they want to be. I want to be Jeezy. I want to be Lil Wayne. They fall in love with the image of what they see, and they want to be that. So they start guiding their life to be that way. I think what we need more in these schools is more positive image. So here's what it is, and you as a black man, Quintin, would know. If you went to the school and asked the kids about Quintin Washington, they don't know Quintin Washington. They know LeBron James. They know, Chris Paul, but they don't know Quintin Washington. They don't know my friend Taiwan Brooklyn. They don't know that probably Tim Scott went to Stall High School. They don't know Principal Darby. Because what happens is we only put enough emphasis on black celebrities. We're not teaching enough about black locals who are doing well. So when these kids, so what that happens is this: if you're a child and you're trying to guide, you're on your way. Well, I can't play sports, so I can't be any of those guys. Who's left? Well, then you look at the music industry. You don't have to be talented to be a thug. You just got to be bad. You get what I'm saying? So what happens is these kids, if they don't have a role model, a male figure, someone to look up to, the streets will provide it. And that's what we lose. That's where we lose them. They go to the streets. Kids.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. I was thinking, too, where are the self-made role models here in the Low Country, particularly in your district?
Man, and the sad thing about it, brother, is they're here. Man, we got tons of them. Man. Like, there are tons. But the problem is that, these kids don't know how to reach them. These kids don't know how to reach them. And I think the school should do more with promoting them. I think the school should be having them come to the school more. We should be like Black History Month should not always just be talking about the blacks who are dead and gone. Like, Black History Month for me and my children now they out of school has been the same thing. It's been slavery. It's been black inventors back in those days. And it probably stops with about Martin Luther King. Right? But what about the black people we have now that's still making a difference? What about the blacks that we have now that are, out here doing things and have overcome from amazing odds? You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know about you until I started this life. But how long have you been doing this?
Close to 10 years.
Exactly. So, I mean, you know what I mean? So it's like, and I guarantee you, I mean, people, if these kids don't know, there's a kid right now, Quintin, who loves doing what you do, but doesn't know how and doesn't know anyone that could guide him. You get what I'm saying? Because we're not putting that out there enough. The schools are not getting it out there enough for these kids that, hey, you like television? You want to be a journalist? We know a local guy who you can talk to, who you can mentor behind. You know what I'm saying? We're not emphasizing that enough. We got, hey, you from North Charleston and you want to be a principal, you want to be on the county council, you want to be in the Senate. These people are local. We have the connections to put these kids with these people. I have a child who I'm working with now. His thing, and one of his biggest things is he felt like he didn't belong. It's because he's interested in strengths. He doesn't like sports. He don't play video games, but he loves the guitar. How many black kids like that? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know a whole lot of black kids like that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but imagine his struggle. Imagine him trying to find friends and people of his interest when there's nothing out there being promoted. So you feel like something's wrong with you. You feel left out. You feel like, maybe I'm the oddball, and it's not that way. So we need to start emphasizing more with these kids and letting them see other locals, blacks who are professional, who are doing things with their life, and other than just always putting up on the screen the LeBron James, the Michael Jordans. Hey, if I can't play basketball, if I can't throw a football, what are you telling me? I don't have a chance?
As a matter of fact, you said this quote, the best schools and the best neighborhoods have the most community involvement. It is also true vice versa. Your worst schools and the worst neighborhoods have the least community input. Simply put, no school district will make your neighborhood public schools better. Our schools will only do as good as the community is involved with them. Where is the community involvement in District 10?
So, actually, West Ashley is pretty good, pretty decent. And West Ashley, pretty involvement. The schools over here, the parents are pretty involved in the school. You can always use more. We always have certain schools that could use more community involvement. But from what I've seen so far is that they're pretty, the parents are here are pretty involved.
Yes, sir. And where are the underperforming schools and neighborhoods with the least input in the community?
So, again, you're talking, when you go graphics, like West Ashley doesn't have a whole lot of problem like that. We have schools compared. Like Springfield Elementary isn't doing as good as Orange Grove Elementary, but you're talking a whole different school system. You're talking charter versus your public school. So that's a whole different fight. When you get into them situations, you're looking at schools like in the North Charleston area, the Shakora, and it's not the fact that the parents don't care. I mean, I'm never going to say parents don't care. A lot of times what you get is when you get in poverty areas and those parents are usually working 2 and 3 jobs to try to maintain. They're usually single parent households working 2 and 3 jobs. So no, they're not coming to the PTAs. No, they're not coming to school board meetings. They're not meeting with the teachers regularly. They're not, they're not. So those schools, then what you're relying on is teachers pretty much to raise these kids. And that's just not going to be a form that's going to work. We're going to have to find a way to make sure that we get the community involved 100% in these schools.
And let me go back to what you said. You said no school district will make your neighborhood public schools better, but how can you make St. Andrews better as constituent school board member?
So what I fully intend to do, I want to be the bridge for the community to the school. Because people know me who may not know about the PTA things going on in their school. People know me who don't know someone in the school. So I want to be that bridge gap. I want to be that, hey, when someone contacts me and they have a problem, I want to be that gap to get them more involved, get them to who they need to talk to. Whatever resources we can help, and vice versa. I want to be the same way for the schools. When the schools reach out and hold on, Kerry. So what's going on, Terry? My son just walked in. So okay. When the schools are doing something, I want to be that bridge both ways. I want to be able to go back to the community and say, hey, I don't know if you know, but over at St. Andrews, just make it up a school right now. Over at St. Andrews, they're doing a fundraiser here. we can probably get involved. We can do this, we can do that, and vice versa.
Yes, sir. And you talk about obviously the schools and the students. Let me talk to you about COVID. As you know, earlier this week, Dr. Postlewaite said this, quote, while it's unknown exactly how many more students will be brought back November 11th, district officials estimate the figure could be anywhere from 700 students to around 1,000. She also said this, quote, as more students, that is, shift into in-person learning, those who wish to remain in the temporary remote option will likely be grouped with other students opting to continue learning from home. How many should be grouped together, Elvin?
Listen, bro, this COVID thing is no one was prepared for. I am totally in favor of kids being in school. That is my fight. That has been my fight. I've been fighting since August, and not fighting against the school system. I'm fighting for parents to get their kids back in school. Currently, right now, I've got 3 parents who I'm trying to get their kids back into CE and West Ashley High School. A lot of these children, I think what they should have learned from this is, 1, how valuable our teachers are, but 2, teaching them ain't easy. And these parents at home, a lot of these parents have to work, so which means the child has to be in front of the computer and focus on his own. And it's just not happening. They're getting behind, they're not learning, and they need to be back to school.
And I'm sorry about the delay here in Zoom, but let me ask you this. Should there be a way to consolidate all the students on a central plan from the jump?
In a perfect world. In a perfect world. But like I say, with this COVID thing, man, I get it. Like, I'm not mad at the superintendent at all. I'm not. We have the scientists and the doctors changing their mind every other week. Every week they're adding, every other week they're either adding or dismissing something of a symptom of COVID. This is bad, that's bad, whatever the case is. So we can't expect her to have the plan right out in front of us. That's just not going to happen. You know what I mean?
And how should the standalone virtual academy proceed in your mind?
I think that if the parents feel as though they want their child, especially if your child is doing well at home and that's what you want, then that's fine. I mean, you know what I mean? That's fine. It should definitely be a parent's choice. But I also believe that if the parents that want their children back in school, need their kids back in school, then that option needs to be made ready for those kids. We need to be able to find a way to get those kids back in.
And I know like you mentioned, you have been fighting for a lot of these students to get back in school. What should be the capacity for the crowded school buildings?
I am. I mean, of course we want to do it safely, but I have no idea of knowing the capacity. I guess it would definitely depend on the size of the school, the size of the classroom, and what the law says, we can have in. But, I definitely I know it has to change, and it has to change quickly because we're losing more kids with this, kids that will need to be in school and want to be in school versus just having everybody home.
And should high school students in the district just continue virtually and have face-to-face for the younger kids?
No, they should be allowed. Definitely. I think that's more important. I think that's most important. I mean, if I'm struggling in my senior year, I don't get next year. You know what I mean? I don't get another year. This is my senior year in school. So if I'm struggling at home and I need to be in school, then they need to be in school. The senior years, no one has ever got I don't want to say it that way. Your 8th grade year doesn't count as much as your high school years in school. You know what I mean? Your 8th grade year is great. You can graduate valedictorian your 8th grade year, but graduating in your high school class, all 4 years matter. So, yeah, we need to start definitely high school.
And I know that according to the reports, these consolidations, that is, could mean the students learning remotely at different schools will be joined together, meaning they could have a new teacher and new classmates midway through the year. How many teachers and students should be in your mind?
I don't know. It's going to always be changing. And I'm going to tell you why it's always going to be changing. Because you got so many parents who are wanting to send their kids back to school. So that's why I don't know if it's even safe to put a number and say this is where we're going to stop at. I mean, we have to weigh it out. If you got parents who are saying, look, my kid is falling behind, I'm sending them back to school, they're pretty much telling you, look, I'm not. We're gonna cross our fingers and pray for the best, but my child has to get this work and he has to do better, and I can't do it at home.
And
like
yes, sir.
I was gonna say, in a perfect world, man, in a perfect world, we would have all the answers for it. It's not gonna be perfect, and it's not gonna be pretty. But the most important thing of it, we gotta educate these kids. I mean, that's what we gotta do.
As a matter of fact, let me ask you this: what will be your educational ideal for District 10?
So, my ideal, I would, again, I'm not going to give you the, world peace answers and the typical. We definitely have an education gap. Okay, we definitely have an education gap. Black kids are under testing compared to white kids, big time. I would just like to see every year that gap start to decrease. Realistically, for me to sit here and tell you, oh man, next year I want black kids and white kids to test at the same level, it's almost, decades behind that. That's not going to happen. But if we can chip away at that year after year, we start getting closer and closer and better, then we're winning the fight.
And if you could accomplish reform in District 10, how would that look in your mind?
What would Elvin do if Elvin could change it? Elvin would support all the public schools. All of our public schools would be, so with school choice coming in, and I don't have a problem with school choice. I understand. I'm a parent as well, and I want my children to go to the best schools. And if I have the means and the way of putting them there, I'm going to do it as well, right? But if we could fix the public schools to where you wouldn't want or need school choice, you wouldn't skip Oakland for Orange Grove, you wouldn't skip Springfield for Asheville Creative, because all those schools would be so equal that you wouldn't mind. You see what I'm saying? You got parents who live next to Springfield but will drive their children down to Asheville Creative because it's the better school, and vice versa. You know what I mean? Well, no one's skipping Asheville Creative, but you got parents who live next to West Ashley High School but driving their kids to School of the Arts. So, and if we could, in Elvin's world, as you just mentioned, I would love to see one day, is that's not even a choice. You're happy with your neighborhood school. You're not even thinking about it. You live in the Springfield district. You're sending your kids to Springfield. You're not even thinking about Asheville Creative. You live in West Ashley, and you're happy to send your kids to West Ashley High School, and vice versa. So,
and let me ask you this: what is the graduation rate right now at West Ashley High School?
It's pretty good, actually. I think last time I checked, 90, either not the exact number, was 80, between 87 and 92.
Okay.
Now you're talking overall, just black.
Oh, overall.
Okay, overall, yeah, overall in high 90s. 97, 98 graduation rate. Yeah, West Ashley High School is doing really well.
Okay. And what is the poverty?
Yeah,
oh, that's good to hear. And what's the poverty index for the 2017-2018 semester for West Ashley High School?
West Ashley High School, I believe last time I checked, it was between 15 and 25%. It wasn't, again, West Ashley is not like North Charleston. You know what I mean? Like West Ashley, not North Charleston. The poorest kid in West Ashley would be rich compared to the poorest kid in North Charleston.
And what percentage of students at West Ashley High School scored a C or higher on the algebra, biology, English gateway course assessments for the end of course for 2017-2018?
So algebra assessment, I don't know. I have not looked. I can tell you about, if you want it by class or gender, you know what I mean? But that section right there alone, I have to look and see that.
Okay. Were there any growth in the reading a map or MAP results?
In what?
The MAP, the MAP test results?
Yeah, I know. There's the map. Yeah, what are you asking? In West Ashley High School?
Were there any growth?
Was there any growth?
Yes, sir. I lost you there, but audio-wise.
Yeah, okay. So I guess it would depend on what you consider growth. In 2018-19, we're still underscoring. And I'm talking from third grade, and I'm talking black kids. Okay, black kids in Charleston County School District from third grade up to high school, we're still underscoring compared to, our white counterparts, not making us racist. So when you say growth, I have to ask you, what are you referring to? As in, like, all kids, sure, we're growing because we're mixed in with other numbers and we're growing. But if you want to know about, certain sections like the black kids, we're still behind. So it's very, it's kind of a trick question to answer.
Let me ask you this. What's the average ACT score for an 11th grader at West Ashley High School?
That, Quintin, I don't know. I do not know. I do not know the average score.
Let me ask you this, man. What's the average years of teacher experience at West Ashley High School?
I think I'm trying to remember the chart I saw. I think it's about 5 years, 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
From the chart I said.
And let me ask you this. How many students at Oakland Elementary are meeting or exceeding the MAP percentage in math or reading?
Again, you want it in number, you want it in just everyone or just in the black kids?
Oh, we're talking about everybody in District 10. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So I know Oakland had an up this year. I know they came up. They did better than what they were doing. Oakland's definitely on their way up. I don't know the exact number of meeting.
What's the percentage of students at Springfield Elementary who are making progress in reading and math with the MAP benchmarks?
See, and these are things that this is information, Quintin, that I have not been privileged to yet.
Okay. Let me ask you one last question about this. What's the reading and math proficiency at Stoner Park Elementary?
I don't have like so these numbers that you're asking, I have not been privileged to these numbers to yet. I have not giving these information yet. Is it something like, do you have them?
Well, it's readily available. Yes, to the public. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, I have not seen those numbers yet. I have not seen those numbers.
Oh, no worries. And obviously, we know that you are a community activist and a father, and obviously you want to be on the District 10 constituent school board. But what are the other 3 top issues inside the Charleston County School District?
So the district is in wide, or district just West Ashley?
Oh, inside the Charleston County School District, yes, sir.
So the top 3?
Yes, sir.
Shoot. I think one of the biggest issues right now, other than COVID, is teachers. Okay. Is retaining teachers, getting teachers paid. COVID, and I would say the third one is probably, just trying to think off my head. I don't know what I consider top 3 because there's so many. With so much going on, maybe, I don't know. I probably go with those 2 right there. The teachers pay, and the COVID issue right now is the top 3. It's the top 2, I would say. I don't know what the third one would be.
But let me ask you this: what compensation packages would you urge the district to update to attract more teachers?
So here's where it comes to, right? Teachers' pay is different by district, but a lot of it's set by the state. So I know Charleston County already offers more than what the state is given. So that battle would, even though Charleston County is trying, they've I've had many conversations with them about 40,000 or more. That battle is something we have to take to the state.
Okay.
We have to take it to the state and say, hey, look, teachers' pay probably need to start about 50 and better.
Let me ask you this: what type of technology should the district use for recruiting teachers?
Pretty much what we're doing now. Social flyers, like pretty much everything we're doing now. I don't know what they could do any different. They're going to colleges. They're putting out social media. They're, on the Indeeds, flyers, billboards. They're going after them. So.
Yes, sir. And you talk about COVID. When should the board or the constituent school board or even the full school board revisit the blended model?
Well, we have to go by the state guidelines and rules. So that's not something I think we can control. If the state says that we can only have so many kids in the school, then, we can want more or fight for more if we wanted to, but that's something, we have to still go by the rules and regulations they set.
Now, Let me talk to you about the District 10 Constituent School Board. How transparent is that particular board in your mind?
It's pretty good.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good. Yeah. They're easy to talk to. I've known just about everybody on the constituent board. I don't have any problems with any of those people.
Elvin Speights Jr. Elvin Speights Sr. Thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you. No problem.
You're welcome.